Hey, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts. Thanks for joining to see how I make another card using some of the new product. So this is so cool. I love these dies. This is called Seascape, and it cuts out, it doesn't cut this out completely, and I'll show you. This one it does, and this one it doesn't either. And you can just snip it, or you can have it as a layer with something behind it. So it's pretty cool. And then there's the Seascape stamp set. So I'm using both of these today. And let me just show you. So I didn't finish all of this, but see how it's not cut out. So if you were to put this with, I'm thinking it would be better as a white with orange behind it or something. So you can snip it and cut the whole thing out, and I'll show you how I did that with this one. But this is, I didn't get all the stuff out, but this is where I was just playing around with it. And I decided to go with the Seahorse. And I kind of copied this from the catalog. I just made it a little bit different. So this is the new catalog that just came out, and on page 12 you'll see this is kind of what I was going for. I made it a little bit different, but see how they back this. They have a white layer and they have some kind of orange, probably Mango Melody behind it, and then this is really cool. These are some new dies that make kind of a water look. So I think it's really cool. If you bundle it, get the stamp set and the dies, you save 10%. So I just wanted to show you that. And then I'm using the Ombre new glimmer paper. So Ombre Specialty Paper, and it's like a glimmer look to it. And you get one of each color. So I'm using, this is the Mango Melody. There's Night of Navy, and you'll see it gets lighter. And then you have Poppy Parade and Gorgeous Grape. So they're really pretty. They're pretty thick to work with. So I'm going to die cut these, the seaweed or plant and the seahorse using that. So I've got my pieces. I'm using a Night of Navy card base. I cut down these pieces. This is the lighter end, and this is the darker end. It's a little bit lighter up here, but you can cut it however you want if you wanted to do this. So let's get the cutting done. And let me get my stamp and cut and emboss machine. And first we'll do this, and I cut this a little tight, so it's going to just barely make it. And I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times because it is thick. So it does fit. It just, I should have cut it a little bit bigger. I didn't want to run too much of it through. Sometimes with specialty paper, I like to cut it down to size, especially the foil paper, because you get an impression on it if from your plates actually. So I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times. And this one doesn't really have any cutouts. The Seahorse does, but I just want to make sure it cuts nice all the way through. So we'll push this out, and let me just get my take your pick tool, and there's some holes back here that you just kind of push to get it out if it doesn't release right away. So this has a lot of pieces that don't come out, but you can kind of push them up. So you can go from behind and push them through to make them pop out a little bit and give a little dimension. So I won't take too much time to do that, but see, you can just kind of bend it. And this has a little bit, it's not gonna, I don't know, it's a little bit pliable, I would say. And I think it's just the way it is because it's this glitter paper, glimmer paper. So you can just kind of play with it if you want. I won't go too crazy with it. So that's the one piece. And let's put this back and let's do our seahorse. So this guy will cut all these pieces out, but not the seahorse itself. And I'll show you that. We can just snip them a little bit. So this one I'm going to go back and forth again. And sorry for the shaking. One more time. Okay, so let's pick him up, put this away, and I'm going to run this right through with this die brush thing. And this is actually an old tool. You can screw this off and put on, I think I have it somewhere. there's another piece that you can put on. Here it is. Let me do it so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the new tool. Sorry, it goes this way. I did the wrong side. So it goes over here, which makes more sense because you can still have this end to do your poking out. So see? And you get 2 of these foam mats, I think. It's really good for intricate dies, and it's better to keep the die in before you do your brushing. So see, it's attached in just a few places. So we're going to just take our scissors and just go through and snip where it's attached, because I want him to come out. Now you could make a card where you want him to be attached, but I want this one to be free at last. Okay, and then there's just these 2 pieces over here that I'm just going to snip, and then I'll fix it. I'll come back and kind of fine tune it a little bit. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to save that. I might punch out some little pieces. I always save the specialty paper. Okay, so now we'll just cut these down a little bit, and I'm going to cut them kind of from the back. I'll get this one. And then there's a few stragglers I have here that I see, and I'll get that with my take your pick tool. So you leave the pointy end in, and you can just push these through. So it is thick, and as I said, it's kind of like pliable. It's almost like they get stuck in a little bit. So just work on it. They'll come out. Okay, I think I got them all. And if this were just regular paper, I think it would, they would fall out. But this is really, I don't know how to describe it, but it is thicker. And I think you just need to spend a little more time. So I'm just cleaning up what I cut in the back. Okay, we're ready. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And now we can start putting our card together. So the first thing I did on the card front was I stamped this big kind of seaweed. I'm trying to think of what it's called. On the card itself, and I'm using a piece of scrap, and I'm using crumb cake ink, and I'm going to stamp off first because I want a light color. So I guess it's like a sea plant. So I'll just stamp it to get a layer of ink off, and I'm going to go right off the page, and I'm going to stamp it a few times just to fill in the bottom. That didn't stamp very well. I'm going to just flip it, do that again. Having a rough time here today. Do you ever have those days when you're stamping and things just don't go right? There we go. One more. And I did different heights just to make it look like there was a real background going on there. And I think we could put this away. And I want to stamp my sentiment. So I'm doing the sentiment in Night of Navy. And it's from the set, Just Thought You Should Know How Wonderful You Are. I thought that was such a great sentiment. Lots of people I could send that to. And I think people need to hear that. So I just want to make sure it's straight. I'm going to just stamp it down on my grid paper. And let's hope for the best. Usually I stamp it and then I cut it out, but I didn't want to take the time on camera. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to put that aside. My Night of Navy is very juicy. So I want to make sure it dries. And let's do the inside. So on the inside, I just thought I put a big fish with some little fish and bubbles. So I did that with the Night of Navy, but I thought it was such a dark color. I stamped off first, and then I stamped here. And then I did a little school of fish, stamped off, stamped here. And then with the bubbles, I wanted it even lighter, so I stamped off twice. 1, 2, put it there. 1, 2, and there. So I didn't put a sentiment in. Not sure who I'll send this to, why I'll send it. So a lot of times I leave the sentiments off. So let's leave that aside and let's get back to this one. And we want to put this down. And just wanted to see if I could pop some of this up a little bit. This one doesn't seem to be coming up. You could work on it if you wanted to. So I'm going to put this down and this down with dimensionals, and I'm using the mini dimensionals. You can, if you don't have the minis, you can use the bigger ones, and I'm only putting a few down, like in some big areas. So if you don't have these, just cut the edges or cut a regular dimensional in half and try to get it where you don't see it from behind. So just find a few little places to stick it. And let me just put one here. See, I could see that one. So I'm going to pick it up and let's just put it here. So I want it to be kind of a little loose, so I'm not concerned with it having every part down flat. All right, take the backs off. I think this is such a great set though. When I saw it in the book, the catalog, I wasn't sure how it worked. So I always play and figure it out before I share with you. Just put that right here. I kind of wanted him to be a little bit behind. Let's put him down here, a little bit behind this one. And I'm doing the same thing. I'll just put some dimensionals in some key places here. It's just a little, let's see how that one looks. Yep. And then we'll put some on his belly and that'll be it. Just to hold him down, but he wants to float around a little bit, I think, too. But I love this glimmer paper. It's really pretty, and I think it's great for the seahorse. My grandson loves anything animals, living things. He watches Octonauts. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of information out there. It's very, very good for me, anyway. I probably should have put this down first because now it's going to be all bumpy. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to put it down here and I'm going to make sure I don't go to the edges. But at the end of Octonauts, like you all want to know about Octonauts, they show that whatever sea creature they were talking about and learning about, they show the real one. So it's a cartoon, but then at the end, they do this little song and dance, and they come on with whatever it is, and it's amazing, the sea creatures that are in the ocean. Really, really amazing. So I'm going to cut these. If you have regular dimensionals, you can just put regular ones on. But these ends on the minis are so big, it's kind of funny. So I just want to make sure I get this down. I'll put it in 4 corners. All right, almost done here. Simple card, but I mean, so pretty. Oh, and then one last thing. Let's put some of these opal rounds. They almost look like bubbles. So let me get this back out. And I'll just put a few of these around. And then we'll put the inside in. I'll put different sizes. There's big ones and little ones. I love these opal rounds. They're really pretty. So let's put one up here. And let's do one more big one. Let me see if I can move this. If I can't, it's staying. You know me, I'm not good with the random stuff. So let's put this on in the inside, and the card is done. I'm getting the hang of this, the stamp and seal. It works really well. It's very smooth. It just sometimes doesn't get started easily. But it's easy to fix. You just roll it forward. So let's get rid of this and clear the area. And here we go. So isn't this great? They're really pretty cards. This one's a little bit lighter than this one. It's the Seascape bundle. So come back, because I am definitely going to figure out a way to use this guy where I'm not cutting him out. I think he's really cute. Maybe with the Mango Melody ombre paper. We'll see. All right. Thanks a lot for joining. You have a good day. Bye.